Welcome to the Lockdown Economy, a social non-profit initiative by the think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactivate the economy. My name is Karen Rickes, and today our guest is Marga Berlinski, the founder of TurnOn the Netherlands. TurnOn the Netherlands is a relationship and intimacy coaching business focused on self-empowerment and overcoming self-limiting constraints around sexuality and relationships. Hello, Marga. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you so much for being with us today. Marga, this is actually your second interview with Lockdown Economy already. For those of our viewers who are new to Lockdown Economy, could you tell us a little bit more about your business?
Yeah, so I coach and train mainly women to be really empowered, so in their sensual life and their intimate life. And so that has to do with body awareness, feeling great in your body, knowing your desires, what you want, and also really important to be able to express them, being able to ask for what you want and feel comfortable in that, in that kind of settings around intimacy and sensuality.
That sounds really good. We mentioned it already, this is your second interview, so could you tell us a bit about how your business was affected by the pandemic since we last spoke?
Yeah. So like in last interview, I shared that I did a lot of things in person. So I had talks and trainings, and after lockdown, that all had to stop. So that was quite a big impact from having all these events planned to, okay, everything is canceled and now what? And I had a bit of experience of doing things online. And I took the time in the beginning of lockdown really to look again at what is important for me, what do I want to bring in the world, what is my business for, who do I speak to, and kind of rebranding myself a little bit, and also playing with how do I show myself online, because eventually we need to show ourselves, right? If nobody can find us, we could be great entrepreneurs and trainers and teachers, and then if you're not seen, people don't know that you exist. So it was really for me also to overcome the fear and insecurity around dealing with social media and putting videos out and all that kind of things. And it was fun and challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. You sort of described in your last interview also how, you really sort of need to get past a certain threshold, let's say, where maybe the awkwardness then sort of substantially goes down after, and it just feels much more comfortable to be present online.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about sort of your transition to that online environment. What kind of workshops, for example, did you perhaps manage to move into this online environment?
Yes. Yeah. So I do all of my talks now online. Some are paid, some are for free. I promote them on different platforms. And also my coaching and training is now online. So I do pretty much everything online at the moment. And that works really well. It has been working. I also trained myself extensively in how to use Zoom and use it to get the most out of the medium. So I found that I can have very intimate personal coaching sessions on Zoom, like we're sitting right now, that are not less intimate or any less than I did in-person trainings, and people get just as much. So yeah, well, but that has been trying and being playing with it. So yeah, that was one of the transitions, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned it that of course you have or you require a lot of face-to-face contact normally. How would you say that your customers responded to that switch to the online environment? Were they open to that kind of session?
Some were not, like some dropped off, or like this Zoom thing or this online medium is not for me, and I understand. I mean, we're not used to it, it's a new thing. Some were a bit hesitant in the beginning, now they love it. Others immediately said, I love it, I don't have to travel anymore, I can just get you right in my living room or in my in my study room. So yeah, that was good. What sometimes helped, I also said to people, we don't know how long this is going to take. Maybe this is the new future, in the sense of this is how we're going to do coaching in the future, and we don't know how long this will have to be. So you really want to interrupt your process or stop what you're up to and what you want to create for yourself because of a thing that's called Zoom or online meeting. And so it's also bringing that consciousness around, well, things have changed. And so are you going to put your life on hold because you don't like online? And it's the reality we need to deal with. So that's there as well.
Yeah, definitely. That of course plays such a huge role in any and all aspects of life these days, that to a certain degree, of course, there is a necessity to move it online, as to not interrupt the process, as you mentioned. So what kind of sort of offerings do you now have online? What kind of talk sessions can customers use?
I do my, one of my talks is about a practice I teach that is called orgasmic meditation. In that talk, I talk about what is it, how does it look like, but what are the benefits? And the talk always brings out a lot of questions for people. So there's kind of a lot of interaction. I share a bit about my personal story. And so that's one talk. Another talk deals more with how can you be more playful in intimacy, right? We have all these ideas in our head that often leave us disconnected from our bodies, from our partners. And how can you bring more play into that? And how can you connect on a deeper level, the level with your partner or your lover that you're with? And so I offer tools for that, follow-up workshops, or we go really in depth, like those tools that I mentioned. And then there is the one-on-one coaching or the couple coaching. So then we would take a personal topic that's important to you and really look like, okay, what do you want to have in that area, and what's blocking you? What is stopping you? And then we go through several processes that really take out of the way those limiting beliefs or ideas that you have that you think you cannot have certain things, or you're not even educated in. What I see a lot is that people in the area of intimacy and relationship, we just grew up and we got what we got from our parents, we get what we get from society, but we're not really taught communication skills when it comes to this. So it's also giving people a new language and tools to actually be able to speak about it, express themselves, and feel what they want and need.
Yeah, I see. Really creating that environment where people feel comfortable to discuss these personal topics. So that's really good to hear. You also mentioned that in sort of your quest, so to say, to rebrand yourself during this crisis, that you also sought some advice from experts when it came to really sort of doing marketing research, for example. Can you share some of the insights you've gained and how they benefited your business?
I think I did a couple of different things. I did a social media training. That was really good. Like, I had to deal with that fear of, oh my God, I have to go online. I look weird. What will people think? So that was like on a really personal level of, okay, what is it that I want to say, and how can I use Instagram for that, for example? And another thing is that marketing is that, asking myself again and again, like, who do I serve? What lights me up? What am I passionate about? And who need that? So and over the years, it has been changed. Like, every time I look at it, I tweak it, becomes more clear. My message gets clearer. And that has been happening in this time period as well, like, again. And I don't know if that is the right way, as the marketing expert should say it, or you should just stick to that one thing. I'm not an expert in that sense, but for me, getting clearer and clearer over the years really helped me ground me in what I'm up to and bring.
Yeah, I can imagine. That sounds really good. Being very aware, reflected of what is your message, what do you want to sort of get across. That sounds good. You also mentioned sort of the importance and relevance of having that support system around you, especially in these times. Can you tell us a bit more about the kind of network you've created?
Yeah, I think it's really, really, really important. If there's anything, I also tell my clients and other entrepreneur friends I work with is, we often struggle with things, whatever it is, marketing, putting ourselves out here, finding the clients, and we get in our heads and we get disempowered. So we have a setback, something doesn't go as we want to, and then we stop. We're all human, and every human is like, when things don't go the way we want it to go, we kind of get resigned and we give up, or we kind of force through, but then on top of that little resignation, or on top of that, it didn't work out, I hope it works now. And so what I found is that when I find myself disempowered, having people around me that understand that, don't try to fix it and say like, oh, you'll be fine, you just need to think positively. Like, well, it's not about thinking positively in my idea. It's about looking, what didn't work? All right, what can I implement differently, or what can I take on differently? Let out the disappointment, just saying like, oh, damn, that didn't go the way I wanted it to. Allow that to be, and then you can move through that. And so I have friend entrepreneurs who I share this with. I have a little group that we found, for especially for this kind of things, we're like, yeah, we empower each other. When one of us is like, oh, I hate this, why did I choose doing this entrepreneur thing? Right, then we go like, all right, what happened? And then we talk, and then we look what is needed. And then I have a big community around me of people who are also passionate about personal development, transformational work. So really looking at, okay, what does it need to expand to the next level? What is it that, if I want to live the most fulfilled life possible and make the biggest difference, what does that take? And keep training myself in that.
I see. So you really have the advantage of being able to listen to many different perspectives, have many different insights from people in different fields, different businesses.
Yeah, that's right. And I'd say, if you don't have that, look for seminars, look for books, online things, entrepreneur friends who deal maybe with the same, and you create that structure of empowering each other. Get resources and tools. You need to train yourself, because if you didn't get them, if you don't have them yet, then how do you think you're going to do it? Right? So really empower yourself.
Yeah, definitely. That's very valuable advice, I think, for any entrepreneurs that might be watching today. In the spirit of that, could you maybe tell us a bit about sort of your biggest learnings through this crisis?
I'd say that's a biggest learnings for always is that, to practice is a couple of things. That when you have a setback, practice bouncing back. And that's a practice. I mean, like I said before, we all have sometimes these days where like, didn't work out, I wanted to. Practice that resilience, being able to bounce back. Another thing is follow through. Finish what you start, and bring fun. That's so important to really it's actually a personal practice I'm taking on at the moment, is that I get so serious, and then things need to go my way. And then I just lose the joy and pleasure of being an entrepreneur and reaching out to the people and doing my work. And then I like my coaching session, but then I go back to hard work again. And though I do a lot, it's really a shift in mindset and bringing a consciousness in having fun and bringing pleasure and joy. And so it's just catching myself if I go into that heavy mode and be like, oh wait, I was going to practice having fun. All right, how can I bring play or joy right now? And I think that makes a big difference, those three things.
Yeah, for sure. I think I can especially relate to sort of the last point you made, really paying attention to not being too serious all the time, but just, keep a balance, especially now that there's sort of, so little, let's say, outside input that we can sort of cherish and can learn from.
Yeah.
I definitely, I'm with you on that one for sure.
Yes.
Well, keeping your own advice in mind, so to say, what are you doing at the moment to make the most of the situation as it is right now?
I think it is planning well. Maybe I mentioned that the other time, although it's a while ago. Planning is not my best part of me. It's like I do a lot and then forget the half, and then I miss that. And I bought myself a planner where I actually have a special planner, whatever, and with an overview where I have my week goals and then month goals and then quarter goals. And then I really had to teach myself. I taught myself to plan And if I haven't finished anything, replan it. So I sit, I look at my week, I do the things I planned, whatever I didn't finish, I replan it. And so I keep doing that. And then I highlight the things I really need to do that week. Okay, those 5 things, if those at least need to be done. And then the other things, great. And I think that keeps me going. And also planning those moments of reflection where I look after a month, okay, what worked? How did my social media perform? Did I got a lot of responses? What did? Great, I'll keep doing that. What didn't? Okay, I have to tweak it here and be consistent with that.
All right. That sounds really good. So really, having that overview of, okay, what needs to be done. And as you said, also allowing for points of reflection to not have everything sort of just pass you by in a way without ever really thinking about it any further.
And can I add one thing to that?
Of course.
Because you have to have kind of a bigger picture in mind. Because my pitfall was I would do a lot, but then it wasn't very focused. I would just do a lot. And the more clear you are about your mission or what it is that you want to fulfill in the world, not even so much this I have to do. No, who are you and what do you want to fulfill? Like I say, what is important to me is people being intimately connected. And I'm passionate and, loving about that. And that anchors me in, okay, what direction to take. So formulate for yourself that vision of what is it that you want to fulfill? What makes you really passionate, or what is it that you're passionate about? And that would be then your compass to say like, oh, is this the right action to take, or should I drop this? And that gives a clarity on what direction to move into.
All right. So something like like a measure, something to measure against whether or not you're kind of on the right path. Did I get that correctly?
Kind of, yes. Yeah. And then if you have the vision, you can look like, okay, what are the things that I need to create in reality? I mean, the vision is just one thing. You're like, wow, this is what I see possible for myself and for the world and for people I serve. But then that should have things that happen actually, like I need to do a talk, I need to give a workshop. So look, okay, that vision, what milestones are in there? Say in a month, where do I want to be? How do I what do I need to do this week or next week to be able to reach that? That has to do with that structure that you need to create for yourself. So it's a bigger vision that keeps you going. Also, when you have a setback that you can connect back to. And in that vision, you create your measures. How does that look like? Actions you're going to take against that future of what inspires you and the vision that you have. If that makes sense.
Definitely does. Thank you so much for sharing that. To kind of round off today's interview, could you maybe name 3 things for me that you could use help with in the next couple of months?
Oh, goodness. What I could use help with, definitely planning again. Just keep practicing that. So planning, what else? Well, it's more like finding, and I'm already doing that, it's finding people to collaborate with. At the moment, I'm doing these live talks, and they're so much fun. I find somebody that has, when we have a topic in common, and then we talk about it from our different perspectives. Like I'm an intimacy and relationship coach, and I spoke to a woman who works with people out of toxic relationships to heal that. I don't specify in toxic relationships, she does, and I do more like that body work. So that's how we work together. So really finding all those people to collaborate with and have these fun live talks with. And the last thing, well, goodness, I guess, I would say consistency, also in taking care of well-being. Sleeping well might sound so basic, but it's so important. Sleep well, movement, especially when we sit at home the whole time. Doing my practices, my yoga, I do dance workouts. Ooh, I recommend them to everyone. And keep taking care of that. It's an ongoing process.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Marga, and for taking the time to speak with us today. Do
You're
you have
welcome.
any last words to our viewers?
No, it was fun. Thank you, Karen. It's such a pleasure. And I hope everybody who watched this, that you find some value in that. Feel free to connect with me if you have any questions, and see you another time.
That sounds good. Thank you also to everyone who joined us here today. Feel free to contact Marga using any of the links in the description of the video below. I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. On our channel, you can find many more insights from entrepreneurs in many different countries and business sectors. So please have a look and stay tuned.